Hello everyone, and welcome to the weekly collective reading. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look not only at the next 7 days, but also a special topic today. The one that the collective has chosen is to write a new chapter, to stop repeating history. And because I'm doing this on a full moon, I think this is going to be a really powerful and very healing session today. So if there's anything that you want to move past or release or let go of, you tuned into the right video, and I'm so glad that I could be a part of it today, so please stick around. A couple of quick notes before we begin. I like to always inform you what the format's going to be, so if you're brand new, here's what everything's going to look like. Even if you're a return viewer, it's good to know. So we always begin with channeled messages. Today, we're going to be focusing on the full moon, and again, that's going to help us with all of the healing energy that wants to come through. It's a great time to release. So we'll start off with that. Then we do the 7-day forecast. That takes us from Sunday to Sunday. And after we get through that, then there are blessings and blocks, and I break it into the elemental forecast. That's going to be the only part of today that is going to be sign specific. Everything else is for whomever showed up. There's some additional pieces here, and then we'll get into the special topic. And the special topic again today is all about writing a brand new chapter. So this is going to help us reflect on what's working, what's not working, and then hopefully help empower you to make the shift and the change that you've been hoping to make. All right, so more to come as we get into all the different sections of the reading. If you enjoy what you see here today and you'd like to know when I do new videos, I'd encourage you to hit that subscribe button and also the bell. Also, drop me a like and a comment, which helps with engagement, and it also lets me know what you like and what you're connecting to in each and every reading. Please join me on social media as well. I always post reminders across all platforms to help you stay informed. Remember that I don't offer private readings. This is the only way to interact with me. If you'd like to show some love and support, then please also feel free to either join the channel, because there's some great membership perks. Dakota or I can fill you in on that in chat. You can also give super chats and super stickers, and it's all optional, but it really does help me do more content here. So in advance, I'd like to say thank you for all of that. Okay, let's again get into the channeled messages first and foremost. And today, given that it is a full moon, I really wanted to focus a little bit on this specific full moon and what it entails. And also some additional dream messages that came through, because I am clairvoyant and a medium, and I also received some very specific messages for each and every reading that I do. So I'll share that with you in just a moment. But let's begin first with the full moon in honor of the fact that it is a full moon today. So this is the Hunter's moon, and I looked up on the Old Farmer's Almanac a little bit of information about this. Historically, it signaled to farmers that it was time to prepare for the chilly winter ahead. The full moon's light provided enough visibility so that they could go out and hunt. And basically, this is about preparation, right? It's also a reminder to be discerning and pick and choose some things that are going to help you in the coming weeks and months. The one thing that I want to really underline in this particular slide is that just because we're in a period of preparation, that doesn't mean that we move into this mindset of scarcity. So it's more about saying, I'm going to make this extra effort right now to make sure that I have this nice firm foundation so that I don't have to worry in the future about being in a place of wanting, needing, or wishing that I had more. I'm not doing it because I'm afraid that I won't have enough. I'm doing it so that I won't have to have that energy or feeling. So you're preparing so that there will be abundance, so that you can relax, so that you can focus on creating, on existing, on enjoying the moment. This is also a time to take action, because this moon is signaling this is the moment to go out and basically go after what you want. After all, what is a hunter except someone that would take action and seize the moment, okay? So no more sitting on the sidelines, as I said with that last bullet there. This is going to be a moment where you decide to go for something. Okay. Now, full moons in and of themselves are more of a reflection and a planning period. So like the moon in tarot, the moon offers us a chance to go inward. And it is a great sort of revelation energy. It can show us fears, anxieties, desires, all sorts of things that we try to normally sweep under the surface. Now is the time to release fears and any sort of things that are kind of clogging up that channel for abundance. So make room for something greater to step into your life. The moon, interestingly enough, as we look at it, not just as a symbol, but like physically what it is it doesn't actually have light. It reflects the light, but it doesn't have light. It reminds us to kindle our own internal flame. We are sources of light. We are sources of energy. Sometimes in our life, we feel like we're a satellite, reflecting on someone else or giving them the power and kind of just following them. In this moment in time, you're actually the luminary, you're the sun, you're the center of your own universe, and you don't have to be anybody's satellite. So the moon comes through just to remind you of your power, basically, and it's reflecting your light back to you, okay? Take some time right now to tune into what it's bringing you. Whenever I dream and sleep and rest and meditate on a full moon, I get so much information. So let me tell you this, one really cool thing that you can do today, whether or not you feel like you are intuitive, you are, by the way, if you're tuning in, but just receive. That's all you have to do on a full moon, is to be present and just relax a little bit and see where that energy takes you. It doesn't have to come as this big visual download. It can just be an inner sort of shift emotionally. Maybe you finally kind of feel ready to do something, or tomorrow you wake up and you feel a lot more refreshed and a lot more centered. It can be very subtle, the shifts that happen, or it can be profound, but you just have to be willing to receive, and don't put too much energy on like what you want to do or have to do. A big part of any lunar energy is that of receptiveness. So take time, again, just to reflect, to meditate, and to celebrate any progress that you've made. Okay? Gratitude is a really good tool to transmute and to move through difficult lessons in your life. Okay. Now, moving from the lunar energy today into some specific dream messages that I got. One thing that I was looking at in my dreams over the past couple of nights actually was energies around leadership. So I chose the Empress here to help us out. She is the quintessential nurturing, mothering, and also sort of leadership symbol because she is the queen, right? So in the dreams, what I was noticing was a lack of leadership. Groups of people that seem to be sort of, again, like satellites working on their own, maybe without some sort of central energy. There was nobody leading or taking charge. So if you're the leader type, this is a really great opportunity for you to step up, step in, and kind of create some sort of a central focus. You can also put your energy behind someone else if you're not really wanting to take the main center stage. But one thing that I was getting earlier is that you are the source. Whether you're going to be the planet or the sun, you're not necessarily the satellite. That was kind of the message that I was getting from Spirit. So think about it. Think about this could be a moment to go out on your own if there's not something in a sort of social sphere or work sphere that is something that you want to center or champion. The other thing that I was picking up on was scrutiny when it came to the fine print. So you really want to spend some time researching, learning, and revising something so that if and when someone looks at all the details, you can say this is buttoned up and yes, absolutely I feel good about this. People will pay attention to all those little tiny details, so definitely you should as well. And if you're signing any contracts right now, we're out of retrograde, so that can be something that you're looking at. You still have a chance to go in and say, I like this, I don't like that. And it's always your power, your voice, your opportunity to really advocate for what you want. Make sure that you have a plan right now. There are times in our life where we can sort of wing it. There are other times where we should be more measured and planned out, and this is a moment just like that. Feel 100% behind anything that you decide to deliver to the world. This is especially for those of you that are creative, for those of you that are ready to put a product or service out on the market. Don't rush it. That's basically what we see here. Even though you're out of retrograde now, that doesn't mean that you should rush something that still needs to be revised or perfected. All of this diligence will be rewarded, mostly because you're just going to feel really good about it. And it's so amazing that, how you feel and how internally you are connected to something, absolutely that affects the audience and that affects the people that are tuning into what it is that you're delivering. Okay? So some beautiful and powerful messages around the moon, around leadership, and around basically really connecting to and believing in what you put out there. That's always a good thing, but it came through strong today. Okay? So again, we're going to get into next the 7-day forecast. This is going to take us through the next 7 days, obviously, Sunday to Sunday. I am going to choose today to do the sun and moon deck for our main forecast. But for this, for this next piece, I'm gonna use the Afro Goddess deck, just because I love the imagery here, and yeah, it called to me this morning. So let's go ahead and go to the table here and take a look at what's coming through. All right. Hope everybody's doing well today. Again, it's really good to have all of you here with me, so thank you so much. All right, a card for Sunday. Healing, that makes sense. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A surprising number of reverses there, but we started off with a couple of uprights. Next Saturday and Sunday. All right, let's get all of these here. Maybe zoom out just a smidge because these cards are bigger. Make some room here. And I think you can see everything. Okay, great. Let's begin with the message for today, for Sunday. All right, so we have the Three of Swords, which is all about healing. Notice that there's a little snake on the top of that top sword. Now, the interesting thing with this is, you know, I can see that top sword today actually indicating like an ace, basically saying, I'm going to do something about the way that I feel. Maybe I'm tired of feeling a certain way, or there may be something in your life where you're just finally ready to take a stand or to allow the healing to take place. Ultimately, the Three of Swords is really saying that's what you're going to do. If there's something that doesn't work, that doesn't feel right, this is your chance to right that wrong or to course correct as needed. And because I'm getting the power component here, one thing that I'm also picking up on is there could be someone in your life that isn't listening to what you have to say. Maybe you feel a certain way about your finances, your body, your career track, your relationship, and the other person has a way of kind of like twisting and turning things around, and you exit a conversation and the thing doesn't get resolved, whatever that is. So you're going to pull yourself out of that, regain your power, and go in a different direction. So for some of you, this could indicate getting a second opinion. This could indicate diverging from a path that you had laid out previously, going counter to what's expected. And that's okay, because in this moment, you're going to choose happiness. You're going to choose whatever is most fulfilling to you, and you're going to step away from this person, place, or thing. Okay? So I see a change in course or a course correction. I see movement, and I see empowerment as the answer to the Three of Swords there. All right, let's take a look now at the week. So that is today, and that is makes a lot of sense. That's a very appropriate card to come through in a sort of big lunar energy. Let's move into the lovely card for Monday. The Nine of Pentacles, always one of my favorite cards because it shows the ability to be self-sufficient, independent, to be in a place where you have this abundance of resources. And even if you are in that kind of vacuum of leadership like I was talking about, the Nine of Pentacles can get anything done. This is someone who can operate and fly solo. So if you're in a place where you're not getting the support that you need, you can still get your stuff done on Monday, which I love here. And the main thing that I would say for you is to take your time. This is the day where it may not happen quickly, but by the time the day is finished, you're going to get this sense of fulfillment. And, you know, as a percentage card, this is getting 90 or more percent done. You're nearly at the finish line. And so of all times, it's most important to just make sure that the integrity of the work is being done, that it is complete, and that you feel good about it. And some of you may need to intentionally break away from a larger group in order to get that level of quality done. So making sure that you maybe, you know, go off to a cafe and work, or if you're a parent in your home and there's something that you need to do, your partner's going to take take the children or focus on the main affairs, and you're going to go and do something for a few hours on your own. It's okay to break away. And I think you're going to get a lot done on Monday by doing that, okay? There's always an opportunity with the Nine of Pentacles to reach out for additional resources. I like to remind folks that just because you can do things 100% on your own, it doesn't mean that you're forced to do that or that you're in this vacuum. So if you were to ask someone for help or to tap into a larger pool of resources, you might be able to finish something on Monday too. So keep that in mind. If there's something where you're just a little bit nervous or afraid of reaching out, don't be, because this is a card of leadership and completion. And like I said, anything that you decide to set your mind to, you can do. All right. We have two really great cards coming through as we look at Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday possibly being a high point for the week. But let's start with Tuesday first. We have the High Priestess. Yes, she is reversed, but nonetheless powerful. The High Priestess in the upright position is basically saying, I know who I am. I believe and connect to what I'm receiving, and I understand that I am this conduit and channel for things to happen. I manifest, right? So you are all of those things. That's what the High Priestess is saying. Trust yourself. It's only when you don't trust yourself and you don't listen to yourself that things get complicated. So in this moment in time, if you have a gut feeling that says you should do something or you shouldn't do something, absolutely listen to that. If you are feeling more drawn towards some sort of project or energy or activity today, or I should say on Tuesday, that's going to be the important thing for you to focus on as well. Go where spirit, energy, and intuition lead you, and allow for things to come through freely without judgment. One of the number one questions I get whenever I do one of my Q&A sessions is, how can I connect more with my guides? How can I be more intuitive? How can I develop and open up like my third eye? So I would say number one to all of this would be to simply let it come through without too much internal dialogue. So when you're intuitive, which you are because you're tuning in today, you trust yourself. If something comes through and you feel drawn to explore it, or you feel like I understand this person, place, or thing without having all this information, that is coming from intuitive source. It's the first thought, it's the first feeling, and it's the strongest and most intuitive. Keep going with those gut instincts, and you're going to see that your internal compass gets stronger, it gets a little bit louder, it gets a little bit clearer. When you start to think, well, maybe, but what if about this, and maybe this isn't it, and that person's going to say this, all this sort of chatter, then the message gets lost. So just trust yourself, focus, you'll be all right. One other thing that I want to say with Tuesday is there could be someone in your life that's trying to kind of throw off the intuition, or maybe also be trying to manipulate or to kind of like get under your skin a little bit, because the High Priestess reverse can also represent someone that is very good at maneuvering. So you're going to see through that, because a High Priestess and a High Priestess, they basically are able to identify each other's motives. So if somebody seems to be coming through as less authentic, or you have some questions, ask. And also trust what you're seeing and feeling. Move in a different direction if you need to. But when it comes to projects, activities, and anything that you want to put your energy behind, you have a chance to manifest. So continue to think in affirmative thoughts. I am ready to do this. This is going to be easier than I thought. I am open to receiving help and resources and insight beyond what I thought possible. Keep it expansive, not limited with this High Priestess card, okay? Because an all-time high coming through on Wednesday. This is such a fabulous day for you. The Star card, even in reverse, is still ridiculously abundant and positive. All it's saying is you're being asked to step into, like I said with the Empress card, this role of visibility and leadership. So the question for you is, what are you maybe nervous of in respect to that, because the card was reversed? Could there be someone in your life who is making you feel that if you step into your power, that somehow threatens them? If it is, that's a clear red flag for that person, place, or thing. Again, it could be a job too, where they just want you to kind of mute your energy, step back a little bit, etc. There's also an inner version of yourself that wants to come out. This can be a big day for growth and expansion. So maybe you're ready to turn a new corner, but this requires you to kind of step away from your current path. So maybe you've spent a long time doing something, you finished what you set out to do, and now you just feel this desire to turn right, turn left, or maybe go back and do something different. So you're realigning with source energy, you're realigning with your higher self, and that's exciting, but it can also be scary. It can also make you feel like you're being exposed, or you're revealing a lot about yourself, but that is part of the star card. That's why on some of the most important cards in tarot, like the star and the world, we see figures that don't have clothes. It's very much like a Roman or Greek god or goddess. It's basically saying, I am completely authentic, I'm completely connected to source, and I've nothing to hide. So on Wednesday, remember, you have nothing to hide. If you are doing what's right, you are absolutely connected to that moment, to spirit, and you should feel empowered to go down that path, okay? You may also find yourself in the middle of things. One thing that I'm looking at in this particular illustration, it's always there, but I'm noticing it a lot, is the two chalices. And she is the conduit, the medium, the mediator, the one that's bringing together two disparate sources or two different thoughts or ways of working. And she's saying, hey, have you thought about this center path, which is actually something we would normally see in the moon card in tarot. And so you're the one that will walk the middle, and you're going to take maybe like the most outlandish energy and the most sort of traditional energy and bring them together and weave them into something new and exciting. Okay? No matter how you slice it, Wednesday's a great day for business, relationships, finances, pretty much any part of your life. It's going to really be heightened by the star card. The only time, just like the previous card, that you're going to get into a challenging situation is either when you're not listening to yourself or you're not being yourself. This is authenticity and this is intuition. So be as authentic as possible on Wednesday, because otherwise others will see through that. All right, we see movement and change happening. By the way, the whole week is good. So releasing whatever you need to release today is going to really set this whole week into a positive trajectory. On Thursday, you may be asked to take a trip. You may want to, again, sort of separate yourself from a group of people or from a task. And basically, if we look at this card in the upright position, Six of Swords is always reminding you of like why you're going down this path that you're going on, like basically realigning to purpose, and that there are better days ahead. By the way, that's super important if you've been through a challenging year. Let's say you've experienced some loss, you've had some setbacks in finance or in health, and you just think to yourself, when are things going to change? Thursday's looking pretty darn good for that. Because the card is in reverse, it can indicate that you may need to take a slight change, a slight shift in your projected path. So it may feel like you're taking 2 or 3 steps forward and 1 back. Don't let the 1 step backward get in the way, because you're still progressing, you're still going down the path that you need to. A small delay, a small course correction is making sure that you are aligned to the right timing, the right place, and again, making sure that this is getting you closer to your goal, okay? So I often look at a small delay as being necessary to help align a future synchronicity. So if you have to pause and wait for an approval or travel a little bit to get the research or the resources that you need, this is a good day for all of that. Reaching out. We don't want to forget that with the Six of Swords, because this is a card of travel, outreach, and going beyond the traditional border or limit that you would normally set for yourself. That's also going to be supported with the energy of Thursday. So if you feel like a conversation, contract, some sort of negotiation would be better if you did it in person, well, I agree. And we actually see that energy here. This is the ability to kind of connect face to face, and then we see a really good outcome coming on Friday as well. So there is some sort of traveling or realignment or a little bit of a course correction that you do on Thursday, and it's well worth it. This can also be one of those days where you're pulling away from the group. So we have increased visibility on Tuesday and Wednesday, but Monday and Thursday, you're doing a little bit more work on yourself or by yourself or in a separate space from others, but that's going to be okay too if you're feeling like, again, it's the most productive. Follow the energy that you're receiving on Tuesday as far as like what you should do and where you should do it. As we get to the end of the week, Friday is also a high point. We have the Three of Wands. Yes, it's reversed, but that actually tells me that whatever it is that you're seeking, it may already be here. And this is actually a catch-up day for you, or a mental reset, because you may be expecting it to come into, your life in a certain shape or form. And the Three of Wands is saying, actually, it's gonna surprise you this time around. This is a unique illustration. I'm gonna pull the traditional one here in just a second, but in this illustration, we see the person going away from what they expected towards a new opportunity that opened itself up or availed itself to them. They've done the work, they've set things up, but something different, something better. That's part of manifesting. All of this are greater, all of this are sooner. Something that's a blessing has actually presented itself to them. And what basically Friday is opening you up to do is to say, oh, this is a pleasant surprise. The timing or the shape is a little bit different, but yeah, I'm ready for that too. Give me a second here. I'm going to pull the traditional card as we're talking, and here we go. The traditional one it looks like this. So we see somebody someone looking out at the distance, and the ships are basically coming through here, right? And so they're waiting for something, and they're expecting something, and they're manifesting something, because this comes right after the Two of Wands. So Two of Wands, you're looking at the world, you're sitting there, you're imagining it. Three of Wands, the world is delivering it to you. It's still a passive sort of energy. So what we look at here with this unique illustration is a much more active energy, saying, oh, I see that, but I also see something better here, and I don't want to wait. Maybe something that, if you're willing to put yourself out there, maybe take the journey as we look at this. So this is a little bit of travel, and this could actually get you there faster. So maybe what you're looking for requires a trip, requires also sort of this cognitive leap, however you want to sort of shake it up. It's going to be worth it. So I see the ability to make something happen sooner. It just isn't exactly how you expected. And it's up to you whether or not that works for your sort of energy, but a happy surprise is what I see on Friday. And by the way, both of these cards are travel cards. That's especially clear when we look at the traditional illustration here, because you see the water. So there's a choice between these two. And let me just pull them up right so we can look at this. So in this one, they're going to go the distance, and in this one, they're going to wait. So you have a choice between getting something now, but it's different, or waiting for exactly what you wanted. For those of you that might be looking for something like a home to purchase, a job that you're trying to get, this could be the difference between one where, yeah, this is the title, this is the position, or this is the location that I wanted, or something that could be really good, but it's not exactly what you thought. You're not compromising, but it's challenging you to sort of like look at what it was that you wanted and say, well, how about this? So on Friday, how about this? You have to decide now or later. Take what the universe has presented to you, or wait for what you wanted. Either way you sort of look at this, it looks good. It may take until the end of the year for the other thing to come through. 3 can be 3 weeks or 3 months. It's not forever, but you have to sort of weigh out the time and decide, is it worth the wait? The good news again is Three of Wands, no matter how you slice it, shows that something good is about to happen. So keep tuning into that. All right, as we look at Saturday, I love what I see here. We have the Two of Cups. So the reversal of the Two of Cups is saying something really good wants to present itself to you, but you have to sort of weigh out, is this what I want? It's okay to not want something that looks good on paper, but doesn't feel right here. So some of you might be challenged with saying that you're not feeling the same way someone else is, or that an opportunity that is presented to you for some reason doesn't meet your expectations. It's okay. It's okay to say what you want and what you don't want. There could also be an imbalance in what's going on. So we talked about unrequited love. There could just also be someone who's not tuned in or not delivering as much as you are. So you're checking to make sure that they're engaged, because maybe they're afraid to also say, this isn't what I wanted, or I need something more. As long as you approach things from the perspective of love, as long as you're connecting it with that higher compassion and energy, you have a chance now to set the stage for higher energy to come in, for the upright Two of Cups, for someone or something that is on the level. Okay, so we're just balancing things out a little bit on Saturday, but it's still a great card for interactions with the people that you care about. Yes, it's a good day to meet someone if you're single and looking. It's also a great day if you're in a relationship to achieve that better balance. And no matter what, it looks like you're going to be put into situations where people are going to factor into this. So speak your mind, speak with your heart, and make sure that you are assertive enough. That was the word that I was kind of on the tip of saying earlier here. This is about assertiveness, but assertiveness with compassion. And that's the key to success as we look at Saturday. For Sunday, we have a slight shift or delay or pause that's coming through, but it carries with it opportunity and empowerment. The Hanged Man means that if you take a little bit more time and research or look into something, it's going to help you out. We have the Ankh right behind her in the shape of the tree. The Ankh shows immortality, basically. And for you, it's also a symbol of resilience. So anything that comes along that creates a perceived hurdle or pause or delay, it's actually there to help you, and it's going to help you in the long run, your longevity. So go with the delay and use the time. If maybe there's just a lack of productivity that's happening a week from now, next Sunday, and you think, oh, I wanted to get this done, I wanted to get that done, and now I'm focusing on this. That's maybe because you need to take a rest, take a nap, take a left turn a little bit and focus on something else. I often find I am better if I take time and take a little bit of sort of like the frustration out of the mix. So the older I get, the more I realize that, as I've said before, just burning the midnight oil or pushing until exhaustion or putting more energy behind something doesn't always equate more productivity. We need rest and reflection in order to bring focus and, again, that productivity. So I think the best thing that you could do next weekend, next Sunday, is simply to allow for stillness and a break and a rest. And so I would do a lot less on Sunday. You have days of productivity. Let's review the week and then we'll get into the next portion. So today, if you're watching live on Sunday the 9th, you really want to be focusing on release. This doesn't work for me. This is what I want. I'm going to take back my power and take some action. As we look at Monday, a very productive day, really good for finances and resources. No matter how you slice Monday, I see you being able to really get a lot done, and I'm excited for that. You start to open up quite a bit on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday is highly creative, highly intuitive. It's a good day for leadership. A great day to try to have other people see something from your perspective, because the High Priestess is just as good at projecting as she is receiving. You're going to see through anybody's veiled attempts at trying to get something done, because like I said, two High Priestesses can see one another. So don't worry, you'll be able to sniff out a good opportunity from one that you should avoid. Wednesday, you're being asked to step into a role of visibility. It's a good day to be authentic because, again, others are going to be able to sense your authenticity, just like I was talking about here. And this is a day to really step into the spotlight. You may be asked to travel, or you may want to step away from something on Thursday. That's going to benefit you. There could be a slight course correction. That's okay. You might be also moving towards what we see here on Friday with the Three of Wands reversed. Something's a lot closer than you think, but there may be a different shape or form, or there could be another opportunity that's better, but the sacrifice here is time, distance, and again, maybe the shape of it's a little bit different. On the weekend, on Saturday, good day for interactions with friends, family, loved ones, great day for a date, but you have to be honest with the other person with what your expectations are, or if there's something that's off a little bit, get that aired sooner than later. And then there's a delay on next Sunday, which is really going to allow you to rest, recuperate, and focus. So take that break, and it's going to be okay. It's worth the time. The Hanged Man is about enlightenment. That's why we see usually a halo. In this case, it actually is a halo. Sometimes it's a nimbus. But basically, it's saying the pause brings me insight. The insight saves me time. So any perceived delay is actually an illusion. So that is the message for the next week. By and large, pretty good. Today is actually the most interesting day. And like I said, it's going to bring up a chance for healing. And I'm glad you're here to help move through that and allow me to facilitate it. Okay, we just looked at the 7-day forecast. Next piece is going to be blessings and blocks. While you are waiting here, I'm just going to shift the cards here a little bit so that we're going to make some room for these additional parts of the reading. So blessings and blocks, just like they sound, it's going to be an opportunity for you to look at something really positive and something that you might need to transmute that could be a challenge. All right, so let's see here. I might use the True Heart Intuitive for this. Okay. 2 cards here. Let's see what's coming through. Blessing and block. All right, so let's talk about what we've got here. So for the blessings and blocks here, the blessing card is the 3 of Cups, also reversed. Interesting that a lot of our people cards have been reversed. With the 3 of Cups in reverse, it's saying, when I used to put a lot of energy before into being a part of a group, maybe now it's not as important. So you are starting to really understand what we saw here with the energy of Monday, that you can do this on your own. And you also realize that when you are less attached to getting someone's approval, getting someone's attention, or also having them like basically commit to you, suddenly they're much more interested in what you have to offer because they sense that energy of detachment, that maybe if they don't do something, you might move on to greener pastures. So your power right now is in understanding that you have options. We actually saw that with this 3 of Wands here. I talked about the fact that things could be coming through sooner, better, different, that you could decide to go in a different direction. So people around you are starting to realize that as well. You are a hot commodity, basically, that you have a lot to offer to other people as well. So know that you are worth it. You are more than worth this opportunity or this relationship. And basically, the other person should see that value. And if they don't, it's their loss, not yours, okay? Because normally this carries with it a question of commitment. 3 of Cups in the upright position is celebration. It can indicate dating or just having fun, going to a party, celebrating some sort of a success. The reversal of this is saying, I am not attached to needing people's attention. I am not so attached to needing your approval or needing you to commit to me, because I know that if not you, then someone else, or if not this situation, then something else. So be confident, be open to receiving, but don't be so attached to needing it that that's your central focus. The detachment is the basic strength of the 3 of Cups in reverse. You've also learned the lesson of not gossiping, because this can represent gossip when reversed, and also being honest and true to the person or the thing that you are most connected to. So it's basically about keeping your word and not letting a third party sort of get in the way of you and the path that you love or the person that you love. So commitment at its core, commitment and honesty and transparency. You've learned all of those lessons and you're not tempted to deviate from that path. So as long as you stay in all of that positive energy that we just talked about, that lane, then I see really good things coming for you. All right, so that's the blessing. The block here is that for many of you, you feel the need to help everyone because the Queen of Pentacles is the Eternal Mother card in Tarot, at least in the court cards and the minor arcana. The other one, of course, would be the Empress, which I already kind of picked up on. So she's just showing up a little differently here with the Queen of Pentacles. Very similar energies. The Queen of Pentacles, however, tends to lend a lot of her resources, particularly her time, but sometimes her money, to other people. So it can be children, family, loved ones, or it can be sort of like, well, I'm going to spend all my time volunteering because I just feel like I need to help everybody. So realize that you are worth all of that kind of time and energy. So this is a card of reclaiming worth and not necessarily overcommitting yourself or overextending your resources just because you have this amazing giving heart and the ability to foster and create and help other people get past all of their blocks. Put a little bit of that love and that developmental energy into your own life and purpose, and you're going to benefit from that. So you're amazing. So I also want you to make sure that you are tapping into the fertility, to the growth, to the ability to create, because you also came to this planet to do some things. And it's not just to support everybody else. That is a part of it, but don't forget you. Don't leave yourself out. That's going to be an important piece to this, okay? That's the only potential block. But if you're going to get a block card and you get one of the most powerful queen cards, you're going to be okay. Again, it's just about allocation of resources and focusing on balancing the give and the take, okay? The sending and the receiving. So we just looked at the blessings and blocks. Now we're going to go into the elemental forecast, which is one of my favorite parts here. This is the only piece, like I said earlier, that is fine-tuned and is going to help the different elements. So let me take a look. I'm going to use that new deck that I used last week, the Mystical Moments. I haven't used this in a few days, and we'll use that to look at each one of those elements. So let me just get this set up here and get started. Okay, so again, this is going to be elements where we're looking at fire, earth, air, and water. Let's turn the camera down and begin. Fire, earth, air, and water. All right, let's begin with fire signs. We have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius here, and your message is the Seven of Swords in reverse. Believe it or not, this is actually a very positive card when it's reversed because it's saying, I'm going to step into a period now where I am not afraid to speak out if I see something that I don't like. I am going to be more accountable, and I am also going to be more transparent in what it is that I want. And all of these things create leadership. So if you see anyone in your life that isn't in that sort of energy of transparency, honesty, and accountability, accountability is the most important piece. Basically, if you say you're going to do something, you need to follow through. If someone else says they're going to do something, you want to make sure that they follow through. So if that's not happening, you're going to right that wrong, and you're going to make sure that people are true to their word. It's a litmus test too. So if someone isn't, it's a clear indication that at this moment, in this particular situation, you know that it's time to walk away from that. When we look really closely at the card in the upright position, we see someone trying to take something that they shouldn't. We see someone that also, it's almost like this horn of plenty, and when is enough enough, right? So some people in your life could reveal themselves to be more sort of self-serving. And again, saying that they're going to do something and doing the opposite, or basically not holding true to their agreements. And so this is a chance for you to reallocate your energy into better endeavors and better uses of your time. So know who you are, know who you're working with, and be honest with yourself and with others, and expect that same accountability and honesty as well. One last thing, with all these wonderful eggs here at the bottom here, there's a better use of your time and energy. That's one thing that I'm seeing here. So you are going to value yourself enough to basically not spin your wheels. So if someone's wasting your time by not following through and doing what they're supposed to do, move in a different direction. Especially this, for some of you, may be coming through like we saw with Thursday. You think, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to focus on this. The minute you stop investing in that energy, you attach to the Three of Wands. So you have the right to put your time and resources into something better, especially if someone is taking but not giving, and that's totally the energy of Seven of Swords. There's someone that you just need to kind of like release or cut out or move away from, and that's going to be a big relief when you no longer are putting time and energy into something that just isn't returning it, okay? So that's the message for this week: using your time more wisely, being accountable, and holding other people to their accountability as well. That's my message for all the fire signs. Let's move from fire to earth. This is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Your message this week is the Four of Pentacles, which is to move beyond limits. And what's really cool, we actually think we got this card last weekend. I forget where it was placed, but we talked about the locks here and the limitation that we sometimes put on ourselves, thinking that, you know, sometimes it can be because you built something. When I look at this, we see her kind of like embodying this house or this creation, but she's also caged in by the creation. So sometimes we think, is this as good as it gets? You know, I feel like I want more. This was enough for me before. But you know what? You actually grow as time progresses, and what was once fulfilling is now maybe leaving a lack in your life. So this could indicate a career path that you've basically done everything that you could. This can also indicate a relationship that's run its course and you feel like you're not receiving. The other person isn't giving you as much as you're putting out there. Ultimately, the Four of Pentacles shows that this is not the end. It's the foundation or the beginning. It is going to require some work and it is going to require an open mind. But once you unlock that potential, then the gates are open. Then things start to grow. Then you start to see development. Don't sell yourself short. That's the number one thing I can say for all my earth signs out there. Don't underestimate, don't over-deliver and undercharge. This is your time to make sure that you're getting at least 50-50, the other person's meeting you halfway, if not opening yourself up into the abundant energy that we saw at the beginning of the week, the Nine of Pentacles. Everybody has the access to this. So you can actually receive way more than you may give yourself credit for. So this is about definitely reaching higher and asking for more and not limiting yourself just because at one point in time you thought that was enough. I see you opening up and maybe wanting more, needing more, or opening up to your desires, and that's okay too. So this is a shift and a change in course and releasing that thought of limitation. And I mentioned with the Hunter's Moon, just because you're maybe preparing for something doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to fall into a lack in the future. This is a period to start to build and to start to prepare so that you can have smooth sailing in the future, all right? Some of you may also be dealing with some financial challenges or again with this fear that pops up from time to time, but you're going to move past the fear and say, I'm okay. I know what I want. I know how I'm going to get there, and I know that it's going to be all right. One cool tip, by the way, whenever you're in Four of Pentacles energy, is to give away something. So let's say, like me, I just did a temporary move. I got rid of a bunch of stuff that I didn't need anymore, or some stuff that I couldn't take with me because it just wasn't going to work with the situation right now. So I donated some stuff to charity. When you do stuff like that, it actually opens the universe up to letting the universe know, I should say, that I'm not afraid of the future. I know things will work out. Here's a little bit extra. And basically the universe says, well, good, because I've got your back. Here's some new stuff. You can give time, energy, money, or material objects. It doesn't have to be, just money. So you could just volunteer. You could help someone. You could listen to someone. Give a little when you feel like you don't have enough, and then the universe then realizes, okay, you've moved past holding on or locking things up, and then the flow of abundance comes through again. But you don't have to spend money if you don't have money. There are other ways that you can do this, like again, just letting go of an object that you don't need. That starts the flow of prosperity. All right, that is everything for my earth signs. We're going to move from earth to air. So now we're looking at Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Your card for this week is the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is basically, we can see the cage opening up here, which is really cool. The Eight of Swords usually indicates a mental block that we have, or the lack of clarity on something, or the lack of hope or faith or visibility, but it doesn't actually indicate the block that we think is there. So let me pull the traditional card while we're talking, and I will help you see that. Here we go. Here's your traditional Eight of Swords, and with the Eight of Swords, we can see someone that is kind of penned in, but there's actually nothing blocking her in front. And so it's really just a matter of taking a step in a different direction, or being comfortable with ambiguity. The universe doesn't always want to spell everything out for us, right? So sometimes we just have to trust in the intuition that we received here. If we look, what would this be? Tuesday, because this is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So on Tuesday, you know something before you see it. However, you're still kind of wanting to have everything laid out in front of you. And the Eight of Swords is saying sometimes that isn't going to work. Sometimes you have to go with hope or faith or trust. It can also be your chance to be like an investigator and say, all right, I need more information. You're not giving me enough. So if, let's say you're speaking with a doctor, a lawyer, or you're negotiating a contract, and they just want you to sign, or they just want you to agree to something, you say, I don't understand. You need to break it down in a different way. So you absolutely can just ask questions. So either you need to trust yourself. You're not always going to see everything and when you're manifesting. So you usually see it here before you see it in the environment. So that's one part of the Eight of Swords. The other part could be you don't have enough information to move forward. And it's completely acceptable and actually advisable in that situation to get the information before you move forward, okay? So depending on which end of the spectrum you're at, you either need to take a leap of faith if it's just manifestation, but if you don't feel comfortable about what someone else is trying to make you do, then you absolutely should get the information that you need to make that step forward. Eight of Swords can also indicate a need to sort of listen to yourself. And if there's anything that isn't feeling right in your body, making sure that, again, you talk to a professional about that, or if there's something that's not right in your life, get an external perspective. Someone else could shed some light or some insight. So either like a professional service, lawyer, banking professional, etc., or maybe a therapist that understands the workings of the body, your finances, or your life in a way that you don't. The good news for all my air signs is this represents an opening. We can see the cage opening up. We see the wings outstretched. And for some of you, it's just the feeling of recovery and rebounding. You can do this right now. You might have been rejected before, or there may have been a setback. It isn't permanent, and it's okay to step out, and it's okay to spread your wings, and you just have to stay open. And that's the main thing with this, is opening and enlightening and engaging. And that is going to be what keeps that roof open, that glass ceiling open, the cage unlocked, okay? There's a lot of unlocking and revealing and opening energy. Thank you, full moon. It's helping us see the path that is important for all signs. A lot of common energy so far. Let's move on to water now. For water, we have the Eight of Cups. Let's turn the card in the upright position for a second. It has one of my favorite totems on that, which is a ladybug here. And ladybugs to me represent luck. We also have dragonflies and butterflies showing transformation. And for some of you, there could be a partnership opportunity on the horizon. Now, the Eight of Cups traditionally represents ends and beginnings of cycles. So it's also an open door. If you're at a point where you're not quite ready to completely say no or completely commit to something, this represents the in-between, where you can kind of go between two options. So this isn't a week where you have to sign on the dotted line or, like I said, definitively say yes or no. Explore your options and take some space and some time to clear your head and decide, what is it that you want? What do you really want to put your time and energy into? This also represents a new sort of a possibility for something to stick, a cyclical opportunity to set something in motion. It's often sporadic. Like if I'm given the choice between the Eight of Cups and the Eight of Wands from a business perspective is easier because you can see everything laid out. There is this sort of on, off, and sometimes like space in between the Eight of Cups. So if you're trying to get someone to say something or do something, they could be a little bit wishy-washy, and you may also come across as not being committed enough. So when you do know what you want, when you have gotten that clarity, speak up and act sooner than later so that you can avoid that sort of distraction and really start to pull in all of the expansion and abundance that wants to come through. But ultimately, this is a week of luck. There is also this connection with travel and distance that's going to help you. So get your space, get your distance, clear your head, and everything's going to come through. And again, this I also see Eight of Cups as second chances. So if you were rejected from something, if you weren't ready for something, if there's any sort of regret in your life and you think to yourself, I wish I would have done this. I wish I could have done, if only this would have happened. All of those could have, should have, would haves now come through as a possibility. Why not now? So reopen that old door from the past and say, I'm going to give it a shot. At least I will have known that I gave it 110% of my effort, and I'm never going to think, I wish I could have. I like to remind folks that regrets are just an opportunity to basically give yourself a goal. So take a regret and make it your goal for this week, and then you won't have that at the end of the day. If you ever think to yourself, like imagine that this was your last day on the planet, and there was a list of things that you wish that you had more time or that you had done differently. Use that to affect tomorrow, next week, the next month, and make those your goals so that you never have a regret. I don't want that to happen for you, okay? And the Eight of Cups tells me that you have open doors, open opportunities, and it's just a decision for you on what you want to put your time and energy into. Really powerful messages across the board, transformative and redirecting your energy across each and every element in every sign. All right, it's now time to get into the special topic. I'm going to hold the reader's choice until I see what's coming through in the topic, just in case I want to spend more time in the big idea or I want to fine tune it. Let's get into the topic. There's a lot to talk about. And I think you guys chose a really beautiful one today because it's about resetting the stage, basically. So again, we're doing write a new chapter, basically stop repeating history. So I'm going to look at all of those moments in the past that keep coming through and how you can basically empower yourself to do more, to do better, and again, to break those cycles. So let me go ahead and clear up all the cards while we're talking. It's a really good time while I'm doing that to just make sure you drop a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. You can also opt into notifications. You can follow me across social media as well to get some reminders on the day that I do readings. And again, for those of you that have given Super Chat and Super Stickers, thank you so much. You can also become a member or gift a membership. All of these things help the channel. All right, let's get into that special topic. I'm going to turn the camera down. We're going to use the Sun and Moon deck for today because we are in a full moon and it just feels like the right thing to do. Okay, let me go ahead. Actually, I'm going to use the full desk here as we're doing this. See what the messages are. Again, for this special topic, let's stop repeating history and create a new chapter. This portion is good for everybody that's watching it. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully everybody is well. Thank you again for joining me and spending some time with me today. I appreciate it. Two cards here for love, so that'll be interesting. All right, let's begin. We're going to start off with the Catalyst. If you're brand new, the Catalyst is always a card that helps us connect to our higher purpose, to get things going in the right direction, and to really focus our intention. So we have the Judge, which for me, if I were to pull a tarot equivalent, would be Judgment. When Judgment is reversed, it's saying a couple of things. The first thing is that the universe may have presented something to you that was a surprise, that you may think, that wasn't what I wanted, that wasn't what I expected, that wasn't how I thought it should be. This could be, for some of you, a necessary shove or push to get you into the right direction. So it is like the straw that breaks the camel's back. So if there's something that really doesn't meet your core expectations, the universe is providing this so that you have no choice but to go in another direction. Because on a heart, soul, and higher self level, you're thinking to yourself, this isn't me. So that's good. If you know what you don't want, it's just as valuable as knowing what you want. And if you know that something isn't right or isn't connected, it doesn't feel right to you, Judgment or Justice in reverse is a decision. This isn't for me. Good for you. That's good. Do something with that. Rather than sitting in this and feeling like I don't have a choice, or rather than being complacent or complaining, take action is basically what that card is saying for those of you that are in that energy. Judgment is also rebirth, reincarnation, and this card reversed is doubting the ability to rebound. Normally you would see in Judgment, Gabriel blowing his horn and all of the souls rising from the dead. And so there is this call to action and call to a new you, a new form, a new path. And so this card is saying, yes, you can rebound. Yes, you can do this. Even if someone thinks you couldn't, this is the other thing. Someone may say, you should do this, you should be this. And you think to yourself, that's not me. Good. You know now what you are. You know what you stand for. And even if it's contrary to an authority figure, parent, boss, maybe even a friend, that's okay. You are now finding your own individuality and you're breaking the mold. The whole purpose today is to write a new chapter. And part of that could be to disappoint someone who wanted something for you, but you know what? It could just be a projection of what they wanted for themselves. And they see that you can do it. And they are kind of like vicariously living through your achievements. It's your life. This is your life, your path. And whatever it is that doesn't feel or set right with you, the universe is actually trying to agitate you a little bit, so you go this way instead. So the disagreement, the discourse, whatever's going on that's not quite right, it's for a purpose. It's for a higher purpose, okay? So if something is discordant, that's the word I was looking for. If there's this feeling like it doesn't set right or it's not vibrating correctly with you, then this is a call to action. Let's look at the cards and see how we're going to approach that, or how you're going to approach that. All right, so as I'm looking at everything here, the center card is about tuning into your heart. We have the Prince of Cups, a knight basically, and it's reversed. So it's saying, I am not afraid of doing something that, again, we looked at the Hanged Man, which could be a delay. Whenever knights are reversed, they're saying, I need to pause for a second and take a step this way or this way. It can be a side step or a back step. But in order to get to the next level, you need to be able to pause for a moment. This is also saying, I need to have some more fun. We have, a dolphin here that he's using as his sort of chariot instead of the traditional horse. But what's cool about this is they are intelligent and playful. And part of the ability for you to really be powerful and really sort of happy and productive, you should be having some fun. Is what you are doing now not providing fun, or has something in your life not been giving you the joy and fulfillment that you've wanted? This is your chance to rectify that. Your heart is essentially at the center of this spread, and as a knight, it's going to lead you in the right direction. So if you don't feel it here, don't do it in your life, in your environment. Instead, focus on a change, a course correction. That's the first message that we get to write a new chapter. It should feel right. It should be fulfilling. It should make you happy. Your heart should be beating and engage with what you're doing. And if it isn't, speak or act or change in a direction that is going to make you feel what you want to feel. All right? Really powerful energy. This can also be a decision for you to focus a little bit more on a relationship, if that's something that you haven't done before, because this can be entering into a partnership as well. We have crossing this, the Five of Cups. The caption on this one is pretty accurate. We see disappointment, or I guess it's the headline on this one. So what happens sometimes in our lives is we focus more on, I talked about regrets, what could have or should have been, or a dream that we kind of hung up on the shelf, and we think to ourselves, why did I delay? Why haven't I done something? And this card is saying, well, it's not too late. It's never too late. So this is a chance for you to take that second chance and run with it. And you don't have to be the particular signs that I talked about to embrace that. This is your chance right here and right now. Also, we always see two cups upright with the Five of Cups. Yes, we have the cups that are falling away or spilled or not where we want them to be, but there's always someone or something that has our back. So when things get rough, when things fall away, when you are at your most challenged moment, that's when you want to look around. Whatever's there around you, if it's a team or person, an opportunity, that's the thing that really sees you. That's the person that really sees you for who you are. And that's where you should focus your energy, because it's the opening, it's the opportunity, and it's also unconditional energy. So I'm saying it because it could be, for some of you, your passion, your project. Some of you, it could be a relationship. So wherever the opening is, wherever the support is, whatever's there right now, it sees you and it's meeting you. That energy is meeting you, okay? And if it's a person, which the Two of Cups in that card can be, that's your best friend. That's the one, that's your family. Even if it's not blood, that energy is meeting you like that. And yeah, there's something very, I keep wanting to use the word it when I'm looking at it. So to me, this is more complicated than just a person. It feels to me like some of you are connecting with something bigger. So it could, for some of you, this could be a passion project or a career trajectory, and the Two of Cups represents something that you love rather than someone. I can't get away from not using like a person pronoun here. I just want to kind of go bigger. So I think this could be a change in trajectory based on what your heart wants, which is kind of what this whole writing of a new chapter is about. All right, let's go into the deep past. Well, this is such a cool card for those of you that want to write something. The Three of Pentacles indicates written work, the ability for you to put your thoughts down in a way that inspires others. So for writers, composers, artists, this also can be connected, by the way, to those of you that are trying to get a patent or get published in an academic paper. It doesn't have to just be a book. I'm seeing words being put out into the world in a way that's compelling. So even blogging and podcasting and videos like we're doing here, all of that comprises the Three of Pentacles. It's basically saying, what's your message and how are you going to get the message out there? This is the time to do that. And you're definitely being supported with this card as well. The other thing with the Three of Pentacles, we're talking about writing a new chapter. Right now, during this full moon, what you can start to work on is setting some intentions, journaling a little bit, but also deciding to lay out the plan for what's next. So put it on paper. It could be a vision board. It could just be a few statements or a mantra that you want to write. But put it down in words, because there are three powerful ways, well, maybe four, to kind of get things out there. You think it, physically, you can speak it, but also writing it is important too, because it's very connected to magician energy. After that, you'll take action. But the writing of it is saying it's coming through me, and now I'm using this like the pencil as a wand, basically, or the pen as a wand. And as you basically download that information and put it on paper, you're creating a contract with your higher self. I will do this. I am open to this. I am this. Whatever it is that you're writing, you're creating your own story. You're changing the narrative. You're flipping the script. So that's what you can do. Whether or not you see yourself as a writer, Three of Pentacles is saying, I'm going to lay claim to this. I'm going to say that I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to do it. So I encourage you to do all of the above there, okay? This can also be education, higher education, and anything that you decide to put energy into. When we see 3 or 8 of Pentacles, you get a return on that. So definitely you can go back and finish something that you started, high school, college, or a project, or anything of that nature. Knowledge expansion and higher learning is definitely supported with that. Interesting that we're using a different deck, and we have the Star coming through in the recent past, also reversed. So I see a window that has already opened up, a door that has opened up for you, and there could be the hesitation that I was talking about before. Don't hesitate. I love that this deck uses a mermaid, because she's capable of being on land and in water. And we also see her kind of balancing things out, just like we would see Temperance, but you always see usually a chalice or two, and she's kind of balancing the elements, being the in-between, as I said before. And you are also kind of difficult to pin down. So someone may be trying to put you into a box or a cage, like we saw with the air signs, and you don't fit into that cage. You don't fit into that box. You are beyond labels, is what I see here. Release the labels and just be. be whatever it is that you want to be, and know that a lot of times the world takes time to wrap its head around something that eventually makes a lot of sense. So you are a trailblazer is basically what I see with this card. And the more you are just willing to be in that energy, the more the world starts to move around you than you trying to shift and mold yourself to meet the expectations of the world at large. And that's basically what we see with this star card, okay? I am looking at the School of Fish here again. There are people that want to follow you because we have, this would be like a curriculum, and I'm looking at the school here, so that for some of you, there is something that you could offer that other people would be very much interested in engaging with, downloading, listening to. So if that is something that you're kind of like thinking about, this is a confirmation for that. Again, whenever we get a card of visibility, accountability, leadership, and it's reversed, I see hesitation for some of you. There could just be this inner question, can I do it? Should I do it? Will I be successful? This is success personified, and it's an emphatic yes. And so don't miss this chance to do what you want to do. The window's open. It won't stay open forever. So it's time to move through it. We're getting a lot of similar cards to the 7-day forecast, which I love because it's showing me that you chose a good topic and many of you are ready. So your crowning card is saying, if not now, then when? You're being asked to step through something. When I'm looking at this up close, it could be multiple things. It could be a menu. It could be his suitcase. It could be a laptop. Who knows? But basically, there's a door opening up for you. And the way in which you could get there, basically, it could change. I just mentioned a bunch of different things. The suitcase can represent you needing to move from one place to another. The laptop could be you deciding to send a note and say, hey, I want to do this. And that opens an opportunity for you. A menu is actually saying, what is it that you want? When you know what you want, the universe opens the door. I kind of like the ambiguity because it gave me 3 ways that some of you can access that 6 of Swords energy, which we saw coming through towards the latter part of the week. So I believe it was around Thursday or so. So this is your chance to really open up a door, step through a door, and see it happen right here and right now. For some of you, this is going to require a move. This is a move. This is a move. And so, but this is a move that you decide to do. The timing might not be ideal, but you're going to go for it. So let me see what's right underneath this. Yeah, we've got the 4 of Pentacles again. A lot of similar cards coming through. I get excited because it shows synchronistically that everything's aligning for you. So we'll talk more about this in a second. I like to take it card by card though. So one more time with this. The way to kind of make change happen would be for some of you a physical move. It could also be going beyond the borders. So if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for love, if you're looking for an opportunity, don't just look geographically where you're at. Go beyond that. You don't necessarily need to make the move until you make the connection, but you have to at least first, it's kind of like fishing. I don't fish, but you've got to make sure that you're putting the, you're casting that line even further out than you think you should. It's not right here. The fish is further out, and you need to be able to go there. And once you get that tug on the line, then you know, all right, that's where I'm going to go. All right. So let's take a look now at what's coming through for how you make this happen, the near future. We have the 2 of Wands. So we get both a time indication with this and also the reminder that it's important for you to know what you're looking for. 2 of Wands, you're holding the world in your hand, you're focusing on this, and you're also comparing the present to that and saying, like, is it matching up? The 2 of Wands can be a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, but it's very fast, definitely before the end of this year. And the clearer you are and the more connected you are to the vision, the faster the universe can provide it. So what you can be doing right here, right now is closing your eyes and thinking, what do I see? What do I want? And then deciding, all right, let's do this. And really putting it out into the universe that you are prepared, you are ready, you are engaged, and you're going to make this happen. All right. So I'm excited with that card being here in the near future. This usually goes hand in hand with the High Priestess. They're very closely connected. So this is sort of telling me that you're already manifesting as long as you continue to keep it in your mind and keep it in your heart. As we look at the card associated with you, your higher self, your ego, and just what you're bringing to the world, we have the 10 of Cups. So this is such a beautiful card. And it's interesting because I get a question that my guides are presenting for me to ask you, which is, how comfortable are you with asking for what it is that you need? Are you good at receiving help? Are you good at putting yourself out there? How do you feel when people give you a compliment and say, you look great, or good job, or I love you? Some sort of form of love and acceptance. Do you accept it, or is there a discomfort with that? This moment in time, the universe wants to give you more love and support. But for those of you that have felt a sense of disappointment, because we have this here actually crossing the center, we have the heart, love, opening up, healing a little bit because the Prince of Cups is in reverse. So you're letting go of pain. You're letting go of specifically disappointment and rejection. The universe doesn't want to reject you in this moment in time. It wants to present possibly love and partnership, maybe a great connection in community or work. But we see this person right behind the other person, literally kind of like having their back and supporting them. So right here, right now, the universe is saying that old chapter of rejection or disappointment, it's done. But in your head, in your energy, there's a little shadow of that. So for many of you, this is an opening and an ability to just see it without the shadow of doubt. So in this full moon, today especially, in order to reset and stop repeating history, you're going to say, I am deserving, not just open to love and abundance, but I'm deserving and ready for it now, here and now. We're going to put more immediacy to it than the sort of general I'm open to. Say, I'm ready for love and abundance right here, right now, and I will no longer second guess my worth or my ability to receive that abundance. We're bringing it next level with this particular reading because I see it right here, right now. And as we're looking at the Two of Wands, if you see it and the universe provides it, it can happen quickly. And that's your big opportunity as I'm looking at you, because you are coming through filled with that lovable energy, but you have to love and accept yourself as well. So work on unconditional love and self-acceptance as well. Easier said than done because we've been taught to dislike a lot about ourselves. So I don't want you to focus on any of those fears, doubts, or insecurities right now. If somebody sees you as valuable, lovable, or important, they may see something that you are just having a hard time seeing, something positive. So accept it. All right, focusing on the environment, we have the Four of Swords, which is basically asking you to be pickier and more discerning with how you spend your time and energy. This card indicates that for some of you, you're go, go, go. You're on the go. You're never stopping. Or you may be burning the candle at both ends. You could also be overcommitting to extracurricular activities or family obligations just because you want to please people, because this card is also a people-pleasing card and it's showing up as who you are. And this card is saying you can't make everybody happy. You need to really take some time for yourself. Ultimately, that card says rest is necessary, particularly when it's reversed. It's actually saying rest is overdue. And if you slow down and pause, remember when we looked at the 7-day forecast, it was actually Sunday that I said you probably should do less. So even like a week from today, I really want you to take some time and just meditate, nap, sleep, go to the park, do something that you normally wouldn't think is productive, but it is. Because when you disconnect, you actually connect to higher self and intuition. And that's when you're going to be more powerful. So please take some time to yourself, for yourself. And also, if there's anything where you're no longer connected, Four of Swords indicates that you're just not feeling it. There's nothing there. Let it go. These two cards are one of release, the Six of Swords and the Four of Swords. So you have possibly two areas in your life where you've just decided this isn't it. So cut some cords, cut some connections, cut some obligations, and give more to you. Nurture, love, and rest. That for yourself. That's basically what the Four of Swords is saying. Some of you may also be on the rebound. This can indicate, for some of you, a loss of a person, place, or thing. This can be the healing process that takes time. And Judgment card is bouncing back, basically. And it's saying, I can do this, I will be okay. But grief takes time. Change affects us in different ways. And you will be okay, but the amount of time it takes really depends from person to person. But the one thing that can help is rest, reflection, relaxation. And that's what this card is saying. And that's what you have to make room for in your environment so that in this new chapter of your life, you're not running on steam or on vapors. All right, when we look at the opportunities, it's to ask for more. So some of you, as I pointed out earlier, might be selling yourself short. The Four of Pentacles can be basically you accepting less than what's necessary or less than what's right. One thing that's really cool with this particular illustration, however, is that we see the word power at the top and we see the person in the four corners. Basically, it's a foundational card. So when you stand up for yourself, when you articulate what you need, when you basically say, I need this, this is exactly what is necessary here, then you find your power, you find your authority, you are setting the stage for more to come in. So this is your chance to speak up, to speak out, to push back on anything that is less than acceptable for you. And the opportunity here is to open up more abundance and have a firmer foundation, because we really want to get you into Six of Pentacles territory, or the 9 like we saw earlier. Having more than enough, being able to balance and move things around a little bit, and not being sort of stretched so thin, okay? Now, your final card here in the outcome is the lovely Tower. The Tower is reversed. The cool thing with this, though, we see the Eye of Ra or Horus at the top, and basically it's you connecting to a necessary change, and you see the change maybe as inconvenient, because often the Tower is, but definitely the right thing at the right time. And this is about saying, I'm going to go with it. I didn't see this coming, but now that I see it, I realize I can grow with it or from it or because of it. So for some of you, this can be, it can be a positive change, by the way. So what we saw here for some of you is, right here we have the 10 of Cups. There could be a new relationship coming in. For some of you, there could be a transfer opportunity at work. For some of you, there could be a visibility option where you have to step into the sort of limelight. Whatever it is, you're finding yourself in uncharted territory, but you also feel really kind of curious about it and engaged. And what you're going to do then is say, I'm going to take this on and I'm going to be my authentic self. And by doing that, this change brings me a chance to really be all that I dreamed that I could be. And it's just unexpected. And sometimes surprises are good, right? So open yourself up to a pleasant surprise. Go with the energy of change. It's here to help you. And even if it's inconvenient, it may be necessary. And for many of you, I see a definite move here on the horizon. So if you're open to that move, I think it could be really exciting and engaging. And I think it's really just a choice that you have to make. If it feels right for you, then it is right. Okay, let's go ahead now and expand this forecast. We're going to look next at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each of these is multi-part. We're going to look specifically how to turn a new page here. So what's the block and how can you make it something that is beneficial? We're going to start off with health. A quick disclaimer for health. I'm looking at energy. So if there's anything that I mention with your physical or mental space, you obviously want to work with a professional there. I'm just looking at how the cards might open up energetic opportunities in those spaces. All right, let's look at your health card here. You've got two. I didn't even see there was one that was hidden. So we're going to look at the presenting and then the sort of under the surface card. So what's presenting here is kind of going to extremes. So we have divine drunkenness. It says surrender to your spiritual reverie. The interesting thing with this, it would be like 9 of Pentacles if I were to pull an equivalent tarot card. So the cool piece with this is I get a lot of passion for many of you. The thing that happens with 9 of Pentacles, though, is you can overdo it. So if you're working, you can work way too hard because it can show an addiction sort of tendency. So we don't always think of it this way, but sometimes like you can be addicted to work. You may also be really susceptible to other people's energies because it's a very sensitive card, 9 of Cups. So that means that when there's a lot of negativity or there's a lot of low morale, that can also kind of push down your sort of energy. It can depress you. So I see punctuated highs and punctuated lows. And so what you want to be mindful of is letting those sort of energetic waves drive the ship. You are in control of what's going on there, and if you're not, then work with a professional or speak up. If it's an environmental thing, you need to work with someone to fix that. If it's an emotional thing, again, you're going to work with a professional there. But I see extremes getting in the way of being able to focus. And then underneath the surface, we have 10,000 angels, lots of support. This is the 10 of Cups personified in a different way. It says, lean on your circle of supernatural support. So if it's not here in the present, it's also here in spirit. So I have now an even bigger team. I've been talking about, I have a lot of relatives in spirit. So when I need help, I do reach out and I say, hey, help me see, help me feel, show me the path. And I know that I have like a lot of support in that area. So you can connect with ancestors, you can connect with family, you can also connect with your angels and your guides. So be open. Remember that they don't necessarily always speak into your ear or into your third eye. A lot of times they're just going to show you signs and signals. So however those signs and signals may show up, be open to that. Let's see if there's any other messages with respect to just general health. I mentioned already the importance of not burning the candle at both ends. We also have a card of stability or lack of stability. I want you to look at your how you're organizing your time, your schedule. Also look at your environment around you. The tower represents not always just a move, but a need to clean or clear. So this is a really good time to clean and clear and let go of stuff. We talked about, good things to do on a full moon. Letting go is part of that. So if there's some stuff that doesn't suit you anymore, this full moon, tomorrow or this week, set some time to give some things away or share it with someone else and just let it go and create some space in your life so that new things, so that better things can step in. Let me see what else is coming through here. Emotional sensitivity. Again, it may be more than just shifting your mind. You might want to talk to someone, whether it's friends and family or a professional. Either way, it's going to help you out. Other than that, the cards look pretty good. The Four of Pentacles can also be you holding on to stress. And ultimately, when we hold on to stress, it manifests itself in different parts of our body. This particular card is usually close to the heart. So we don't want to have high blood pressure or, a tight energy around the heart. So do anything that you can to release the stress. For some of you, it could be writing or art or somehow sort of channeling that out. But for some of us, we need to speak it out as well. So whatever you need to do, take care of that so that you're not holding on to unnecessary kind of like energy. All right. The big opportunity here, though, is to find happiness and to also realize that you have this support, which is great. All right, let's move on from health to wealth. Clear, cancel, release. We're getting common messages here. It is reversed. So for some of you, it's difficult to speak up. It's difficult to put a stop to that. I mentioned when we saw the Two of Cups earlier, if you can say it from a place of love, thank you, but no. That's really it. I appreciate the offer. But right here, right now, this isn't what I'm looking for. That's it. You don't have to actually over-explain. I had a friend recently say that. Just ask for what you need or say what you don't want. Don't overdo it. And easier said than done, but just try to state what your need or desire or thought is and let it go. If there's anyone in your life that isn't returning energetically what you're investing, release them. If there's something that you don't like, cancel it. If there's something that you need to get out of your energetic space, clear it. And I've been doing a little bit of all of that. I had to cancel a contract. I had to clear what was around me, and I had to release my feelings attached to that as I moved on from a place. That's all done now. Now I'm focusing on the next chapter, just like you are. But you might be doing all three like I did, clearing, canceling, and releasing. And you can do it successfully if you set your mind to it. One thing that I really like with her is that she's not getting overly emotional with it. She's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be okay. I may not see it all just yet, but I trust in my vision and I trust in my ability. So trust in your vision, trust in your ability, and just tune in. And this is also going to help you with respect to contracts. So we're looking at wealth here. If something doesn't work for you, this can be quitting. If you don't like something, you can go back and say, you know what, I'm willing to walk away from this. If, this is a negotiation sort of thing, you could say, this is my best and final. And Either they're going to meet you at that, or you're going to find someone that's a better connection for you. Let's look at some other cards with respect to your money, your career, and your just general sort of development. If you're looking to go back to school, yes, we get an emphatic yes. You may have one or two opportunities that are not where you live right now. So I definitely get, all three cards show relocation. So you may be asked to relocate for professional or for educational growth. You're going to school in another state, province, or country, or you're working in another state, province, or country. I like what you're planning here because the Two of Wands shows me clear vision. I see a lot of receptive energy here. You're very busy right now, so take care of yourself. But other than that, things look good, and you absolutely, like, the whole purpose of today's reading was change, and this tells me this is empowered change, and this is change. So we're basically getting that the universe is ready to receive. The important thing for you is it wants to know that you see it and you believe it. And for some of you, you have to release something from the past. So this is what you're holding on to, and this is the universe saying, when you let go of this, then I have a lot more coming through. I have upgrades for you. So whether it's an old relationship, an old job, or an agreement that no longer suits you, there's a contract that needs to be released. And some of you can work with sort of a contract release from past lives. Let me take a drink and we'll talk about that. So I don't know if you know this, but contracts can go between lifetimes. So maybe in a past lifetime, you took a vow of chastity, of poverty, or you and another person were engaged in a contract that just didn't release when you stepped out of that lifetime. What you can do on this full moon, particularly, is say, I release all contracts, spoken and unspoken, in this lifetime and in others, and I clear myself now to set a new course or new action. You can specifically, if you've been having troubles with money or with career or whatever, you can say, I release any vows of poverty or any contracts that would not allow me to open myself up to opportunity. I clear them in this lifetime and others, whether they were spoken or just sort of implicit, they are now released. They no longer suit me. Thank you for the lesson, but I no longer need it. I actually was doing some of that last night as I was sleeping. I just said, thank you for this lesson. Sometimes it's like of pain or suffering or of difficulty here. I learned a lot from it. I don't want to receive lessons of that sort anymore. Show me love and abundance and opportunity instead. So you have to be aware that certain things came in to teach you a lesson. You have to be aware of the pattern and then just let it go. Okay, so really, I feel like all of you will benefit in this particular full moon with saying thank you for a lesson, even if it was painful. You don't need it anymore. Okay, and you're ready and willing to receive more. That's the important thing here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at love and relationships. You have two for this as well. So the big opportunity here is the Mirror Guardian. It says take time to reflect. I love, we get so much energy around reflection coming through for this beautiful full moon. The latent energy is to retreat and recharge, and it's basically, the Hermit is basically able to see the star within. And typically the Hermit would be holding the star, but you're already a step beyond that. You've started to step into that energy of light and enlightenment, and there's no stepping back. Once the door is open, it stays open. So during this period of time, relationships are showing you things about yourself that you may have forgotten, and you're starting to reclaim your power. Let's take a look at the three different types or levels of relationship that I like to focus on, and we'll see if there's specific messages from those different areas. So this is going to be those of you in love, looking for love, or single and happy. If you're in love right now or in a committed relationship, the main thing that I'm picking up on is, for some of you, you are stepping into a more empowered role than you have previously. I also see one partner, maybe both of you, kind of stepping into an opportunity that could pull you in different directions. So this could be travel. Travel can create a disruption in relationships, so you'd want to bridge the gap if one of you is in a different city or different country. So long distance relationships, that's one challenge. For some of you, I see a challenge in what your original vision of yourself was and what you want to do. So a career change or an educational opportunity. And again, this is going to pull your time and energy, and you're going to be busy. And so the biggest thing right now is a tug at resources. You want to put time and energy into something else. The relationship is still there, and there's still a lot to love, but it requires change. So basically, as long as you and your partner are willing to lean into the energy of change, then it'll be okay. But if not, then it's going to be on shaky ground. Here's the good news, though. I do see a return on this sort of educational development, you knowing who you are, you being able to call that in. And if your partner is going to kind of like be there with you, then you both can ride that wave of change and growth together. But for some of you, the person wants you to sort of just, they're like, but I married that person, or I agreed to this path, not that path. So you're going to have a discussion about how things diverge. Remember what I said before, do it from love and say, I think the important thing here is you're my person, you're the one that I chose. And part of our agreement was unconditional support, especially when it is connected to growth. So this is something that I love. And if you love me and you want me to be happy, this is what I need to be happy. And I would support you in this endeavor. Put it in those terms and see if they're willing to go with the change. By the way, the other thing here, I like to look at a tower reversed as potentially positive. So for some of you, you're taking it next level, and you might decide to move to support your partner, or they may decide to move to support you, or you could be moving in together. And that's going to be a big change for both of you, because I see movement and movement. So for some of you, you just decided to get married, and it's a big adjustment, and there's a lot of juggling of things, but you'll figure it out. As long as you lean into the energy of unconditional love. And for many of you, there's a deep soul connection. So I think this is going to be okay. But you know what? Change is difficult sometimes. So give yourself time and space to do that. And that's the other thing, time and space with these two distance cards. You may just need to figure out places where the two of you can be a couple and you can be together, but there are certain activities that you do alone, or there's certain times where you just need to meditate or be separate. So negotiate how that works as well. For those of you looking for love right now, it could be a person from a different country or a different background. I see, again, a high soul partnership coming through. This could be distracting for you, but it could be exactly what you're looking for. My big question for you is, do you have enough time right now? The Four of Swords shows me someone that is tapped out in resources, time, and energy. So make sure that you're not overcommitting. It does look like if you know what you want, you're able to bring it about, but it's faster than you thought. And so make sure that when you're kind of like casting that net out there, that you're truly ready for it, because I see manifestation coming in an unexpected and a somewhat faster way. Also, there's a lot of development happening with work. This is kind of leaning into single and happy as well, but single and looking and single and happy, your career is taking off in a way that could also be breaking your own expectations and barriers down. And again, travel, moving, all kinds of opportunities. You could ask for more when it comes to resources in your life so that you have more time and energy to develop yourself and to put into your relationships. If you're single and happy, I think this is a good time to do that. I see a lot of travel for those of you that are not attached. I see potentially a period where you're a little bit nomadic. So maybe you're traveling so much that you just decide to sell a property and you're going to rent, or you're going to travel a lot for work and you don't need that property, or you're going to use it as a rental and make money from that. But I see an unattached energy when it comes to your living situation. And that could be really exciting for you, especially if you're younger and you've just graduated or something. This could be a period where you're traveling the world and figuring out who you are, because all of these cards are associated with that. It can also be for those of you that are retired and have the time, resources, and energy to do so. You're deciding to explore a little bit. Be mindful of money, making sure that you're not overextending yourself with that. Four of Pentacles can definitely be that. So make sure that you are planning. And that was part of this moon, is to make sure that you're planning for the future and not overdoing it. But other than that, I like what I'm seeing. And it's an exciting time of development and growth when it comes to relationships. They're either entering or exiting faster than you thought. Either way, you're going to be okay. Let's go back to Judgment, which is reincarnation, rebirth, and basically rebounding. So no matter how you slice it, this is a really exciting time for all of you right now. All right, finally, let's take a look at your destiny card. And destiny is something that is malleable, and it's indicating your overall trajectory. So we have the ancestor spirit coming through, which was part of the reason that I was talking about past sort of contracts. Some of you need to clear old contracts and old karma, but this is also your ability to connect to source. So for those of you that, you sometimes ask, like, how do I talk to my guides? Sometimes your guides are your relatives. Sometimes it's ancestors. Sometimes it can even be totems. I have a wolf is one of my totems that comes through. And I have a dog from a past lifetime that will visit me sometimes. I have relatives from this lifetime. I have angels and ascended masters and other beings as well. So you can connect with all kinds of energies. It's not just one guide. You have a whole team of spirit. And we saw that here with this 10,000 angels. You have a big group behind you if you're willing to kind of explore that. So let's read this card. It says, connect to your lineage. A family wound or pattern can be healed right now. This is kind of like the big so what in this moment in time. And I'm going to pull a card on that in just a second to see how to heal it. But for many of you, this could be financial, it could be emotional, it could be relationships. So my message from Spirit with this card is you are not your family. You're not your mother, you're not your father, you're not your brother or sister. Whoever in your family had a sort of systematic and sort of serial energy that you didn't like, you are the beginning of something different. You're ending that cycle and you're beginning something new. And in your own life, whatever kind of trend you didn't like, this moment in time, make a commitment, not with me, but with yourself, your higher self, and with Spirit, that it ends today and something new begins. And that's where the power is. And I'm glad I waited for the reader's choice, because for the reader's choice, we're going to ask a question. What can you do to connect to that lineage and heal the family wound? So this is the reader's choice. We have Six of Wands, which is a beautiful card. First of all, it's just from Spirit, an affirmation that, yes, you can clear it. It's also saying that the big opportunity is not to do something for other people. Six of Wands a lot of times focuses on approval. So if you didn't get approval from mom, from dad, from anybody in your life, it doesn't matter is what this card says. The only approval you need is your own. Do you feel good about what you're doing? Does this feel like it's authentic for what you came onto this planet to do at this moment in time? That's all that matters right here and right now as Apollo wakes up. He's saying tune into your higher self. This is also saying part of the interesting energy right now is putting yourself out there a little bit more. So some of you may have been told to be quiet, to step into the background, to not use your voice. And this is saying, actually, your key to success is what differentiates yourself from others. So be boisterous, be different, be unique. All of these things are going to equate to your success. We don't see other people in this card. So the absence of feedback doesn't mean the absence of success. We don't always get a gold star, a thumbs up, a hug, or a pat on the back saying job well done. You don't need it on a cosmic level. If it feels good and you're doing what's right, it'll eventually catch up with you. But on a soul level, you got that check plus, that A plus, whatever you want to call it, and you're exactly where you need to be. All right, so there's one more thing that I like to look at, and then we're going to get into the meditation. It's not listed here, but it is called the big idea. And whenever I do these readings, I like to look at past, present, and future. So let me just look at how I worded this again. Excuse me. It's writing a new chapter and stop repeating history. So as I look at the past, I really want to look at the history that you can stop. When I look at the present, it's going to be the opportunity. And then we're just going to get some advice on how to write it as we look at the future. All right, so let's pull the camera down and get 3 cards here and see what's coming through. Past, present, future. Okay, so we're going to start with past energy. So these are the old patterns. 5 of Wands. It's saying stop spinning your wheels. 5 of Wands can indicate sometimes just doing something because you've been told to do something, doing something, but not really feeling inspired. Sometimes losing your passion and therefore not being as productive as you can be. It's also encouraging you to walk away from competitive patterns. A lot of times this can be sibling rivalry. This can also just be with someone in your life that's constantly trying to one-up you. You're at a point now where that doesn't suit you anymore. There's healthy competition, and then there's just competition. So at this point, you need to really make sure that you feel like this is worth your time and energy. This card is ultimately saying if you have the ability to cooperate and to collaborate and to basically partner with people, because that's how you're showing up right now, that's where you're going to be most successful. So walk away from unnecessary competition, work for the sake of work, or anything where you don't feel connected. You have so much more to offer right now. Let me take a drink and then we're going to look at the energy of the present. So in the energy of the present, action. That was very much connected with the Three of Swords, which I remember I pulled for today. So in this moment in time, what is it that you want? What is it that you don't want? And what are you going to do about it? The action will be rewarded. And it's as simple as that, basically. Look at the little snake that's on this Ace of Swords. And if we were to look at the one from the Afro Goddess deck, there was the Three of Swords, which had the sort of snake as well. And I kept saying, I see an ace here. This is the ace. So based on what you don't want, based on what doesn't feel right to you, you now know what you do want, and you now know what to do about it. So now is the time. Now being this week in particular, since this is a weekly forecast. All right, and then ultimately, guess what? We also got the Three of Swords for the future. It's also reversed, and it's basically saying, I'm going to release the pattern associated with the Three of Swords. This is maybe one of my favorite Three of Swords because it shows that oftentimes the pain isn't just here, it's here. And sometimes we've set a pattern that says, this is something bad could happen, or what if this happens, or am I stuck? So your big opportunity to change the pattern and change the frequency is to say, I'm done with this now. It's not coming back. We're not repeating. It changes with me, as this beautiful card here was showing. The ancestral or the familial energy, or even just your own sort of cyclical energy that you felt like you were stuck in. It ends today with this reading, and you're going to open yourself up for love, and you're going to take some action right here and right now to make something amazing happen. And this is how you make a new chapter. And as we look again at all the cards in front of us today, ultimately when I looked at the big idea, I see success coming through for you. And we see that you're actually already in the power zone here. It's just a matter of movement and release and standing up for what's important to you and leaning into the support that's already there. A big change is on the horizon. All you have to decide is what you want to do with that energy of change. What do you want? That's basically what the universe is asking you here. And you absolutely can bring that about. And for many of you, knowing what you don't want is part of that equation. And it's the most powerful teacher that we can get. I don't want this anymore. Thank you for showing me what I don't want. Help me work towards what I do want. And that's how we're going to face this meditation, actually. So a nice segue into our final portion here. So as we meditate, there are 3 parts to this. We're going to look at a final card after all of this, but we're first going to meditate together on clearing karma, clearing cords, and releasing contracts, and opening up to something less painful and more rewarding. Before we meditate, make sure that you like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. You can give me a follow on social media afterwards. I'll put the links up here. And if you'd like to give some support, you can do that now. In the meantime, let's meditate together, and then we'll look at that final card. The final card, by the way, is something that I haven't answered so far. So just write that question down, and now let's focus on the meditation. Take a nice deep breath like I just did and sigh it out. Make it an audible sigh. Feeling really good as you do that. And imagine now that you are outside on a beautiful beach. It's the dawn of a new day. This is one of those beaches where the water is it looks almost artificial how crystal blue it is. I think Turks and Caicos has this beautiful crystal blue water. But you can imagine anywhere in the world where it's like aquamarine and just beautifully crystal clear. As you look into this crystal clear water, you see yourself in a new light, and you see yourself unencumbered. There is no attachment to you. There's nothing but brilliant blue and green energy all around you. Green, the color of the heart, blue, the color of the throat, and then a lot of shades in between. So you're going to be able to speak your truth. You're going to be able to feel authentic and feel vibrant. And that's important. You need to be able to be in that powerful energy. So looking at the true version of yourself, essentially the equivalent of the star card here, which also has aquamarine and green energy here, I want you to clear some contracts. And you can imagine too that you can even cup some of that water in your hands and look into this. And repeat after me in a way that sounds good to you, but say, thank you, universe. Thank you for allowing me in this full moon to reflect upon who I was, what I want, what I don't want, and giving me crystal clarity in what I want to do next. And you can now take this water and allow it to fall over your crown chakra. And keep doing this with each time that you release a contract. And I want you to say what it is that you want to release. So for some of you, say higher self. I release the vow of chastity or poverty from a past lifetime. I'm now ready to receive love and abundance in the highest forms here and now. I don't need to wait any longer. I am ready right here and right now to receive. I accept my worthiness. I see myself. I see my worth, and I'm willing to receive that worth from others as well. So I open myself up and I clear those old contracts. They no longer suit me. Thank you for the lessons in the past lifetime. They are not who I am in this lifetime. For the pain that you've received in this lifetime, for the setbacks, for the disappointment, get another cup of crystal blue water and allow that to again fall over your crown chakra and say, thank you for the lessons of pain, for disappointment. It's not what I wanted, but it taught me. It was a great teacher. I'm ready to learn in a different way. Show me love, show me joy, show me satisfaction, show me opportunity instead. Allow me to receive messages and lessons from these higher frequencies. I no longer need the lower frequencies. And now continue to release your own things because you have your own path, your own energy. With each release, as I play the singing bowl, you can continue to cup the energy over your crown chakra. Blue, green, and any other color that you'd like to, you can imagine cascading over your crown chakra. I'm going to grab the singing bowl. We're going to play this really quickly, and then we'll get into your final card. Keep breathing as you're releasing the contracts, and feel free to speak out loud as well. Giving yourself one last chance to bring that beautiful water, allow it to cascade over your crown chakra. Let go. Allow yourself now to stand up and move towards the rising sun, drying off and allowing yourself to be connected to that power and energy that we see in the solar totem. So I hope that you felt that release. Hope you feel that that opening has happened for you today. Continue to replay this meditation as needed and release anything that comes across your path over the next 7 days. I'd like you now to focus on whatever final question you have for me. This can be a simple yes, no. This can also be a more complicated question. Just connect with it energetically and allow me to pull a card and see what the answer is. Okay, so we have the Nine of Swords coming through in this moment in time, which is basically saying the most important thing you can do is focus on stress reduction. And I talked earlier about rest and sleep. This is going to be really important right now. As a yes/no, this is an indication that you're not quite ready for something just yet. There may be too much stress, aggravation, or butterflies associated with it. So I would say give yourself a day or two, really calm yourself, calm your nerves a little bit, and then redirect your energy towards it once you've found that sort of zen. The good news with the Nine of Swords is it's typically what I talked about. It's more like butterflies or nerves. It's not necessarily a full stop no. But right now, the timing is off just a little bit to take action. So clear your head, clear your schedule, clear your energy. And then once you feel that sort of zen, sort of energy step in, then you're going to be ready for that, okay? So not quite yet. I would say give it, for some of you, even the full week. This can be up to 9 days. So for some of you, there's a little bit of a delay there, but not now, but soon. And the most important thing in this moment in time, just as a general note with the Nine of Swords, is to focus on self-care, stress reduction, and sleep. And this is the second time we got a message to make sure that you're getting ample rest. All right, everyone, I hope this helped you. And I just want to say thank you so much for spending time with me on this full moon, on this Sunday, and taking a little bit of an opportunity here to focus on empowerment. I'm glad I could be a part of it. If you enjoyed any part of today's reading, I'd love for you to hit that like button and the subscribe as well. I'd like to see this channel grow and reach more people. Engagement is key, so also leave a comment below if you could. I appreciate it. Additionally, if you'd like to follow me on social media, that'll help you stay in the loop, and it also helps me grow across all platforms, so thank you in advance. And both Dakota and I have been thanking you in real time for all the support that you've lent through Super Stickers, Super Chat, and memberships. Thank you for showing the love, and thank you for showing up. And that, my friends, is everything for today. I wish you much love and happiness. Little Apollo here is still sleeping because I do these a little bit earlier in the morning, so he's a little sleeping beauty on some of these right now until I get relocated. So just know he's in the background holding space. But from both of us to you, much love and light. I hope you had a great reading today, and I look forward to seeing you during the week. A reminder, I always do readings on Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, plus my daily card reads, and occasionally I'll throw some extra ones out there as well. So until I see you again, take care of yourselves and have a great week ahead. All right, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.